Lord Shiva, the primordial destroyer of evil, protector of the universe, and slayer of demons, is often regarded as the supreme ascetic. Detached from worldly desires, he embodies the cosmic force of destruction, clearing the path for renewal. Yet even this great deity, revered for his wisdom and power, could sometimes fail to see the value of the world's more delicate forces. His wife, Parvati, the goddess of fertility, nurturing, and transformation, balanced his energy with her boundless compassion and care for the material world. Together, their union represented the perfect harmony of creation and destruction, action and thought, a divine equilibrium upon which the universe depended. Their union was so profound that they were often worshipped as Ardhanarishvara, the sacred fusion of Shiva and Parvati into one being. This form symbolized the interdependence of masculine and feminine energies and the balance necessary to sustain life. While Shiva observed the cosmos with detachment, Parvati actively participated in its growth and transformation, ensuring the well-being of all living things. She was venerated as the mother of nature, the force behind fertility, connection, and sustenance. Despite their sacred partnership, a rift began to form between Shiva and Parvati. Shiva, in his ascetic wisdom, had grown increasingly dismissive of the material world. He believed that Brahma, the creator, had designed the physical plane purely as a fleeting distraction, a grand illusion called Maya. To Shiva, material possessions, food, and the daily struggles of life were insignificant compared to the eternal truths of the cosmos. For centuries, Parvati endured Shiva's disregard for her role in maintaining the earth's harmony. She smiled patiently as he belittled the importance of the physical world and the nourishment it provided. But one day, Shiva's dismissive attitude went too far. In a heated argument, he openly ridiculed the material plane, calling it a meaningless construct that distracted mortals from spiritual enlightenment. Parvati, deeply hurt yet resolute, decided to teach her husband a lesson he would never forget. She knew that Shiva's perspective, while profound, was incomplete without her influence. Determined to prove the significance of her work, she withdrew her energy from the world entirely, leaving Shiva and the earth to face the consequences of her absence. As Parvati departed, the earth descended into chaos. Without her nurturing energy, the land became barren and lifeless. Rivers dried up, crops withered in the fields, and the once vibrant world was cloaked in an eerie silence. Hunger spread like a shadow over humanity. Parents, unable to feed their children, watched helplessly as their families suffered. Communities that once gathered to share meals and laughter now retreated into isolation, consumed by despair. Even Shiva, the great ascetic who claimed to need nothing, felt the weight of Parvati's absence. Despite his divine powers, he experienced an unbearable emptiness. For the first time, he understood the importance of the material world, the food that sustained life, the connections that brought people together, and the balance that Parvati had always maintained. Moved by the suffering she witnessed from afar, Parvati's compassion overcame her resolve. She could not stand by as her devotees starved and the earth crumbled into desolation. To restore balance and nourish the world, she took on a new avatar, Annapurna, the goddess of food and nourishment. In this form, Parvati descended to earth, carrying a golden bowl filled with porridge and a jewel-encrusted ladle. As news of her arrival spread, people began to worship her as the divine provider who ensured that no one would go hungry. Her presence brought hope and rejuvenation to the barren lands. Rivers flowed once more, crops sprouted in abundance, and the world blossomed into life. Annapurna's compassion extended to all beings, mortal and divine alike. She is said to have appeared first in the sacred city of Kashi, also known as the Place of Freedom, situated along the banks of the Ganges. There, she opened a kitchen to feed the hungry until their bellies were full and their spirits lifted. Humbled by the flourishing scenes around him, Shiva realized the error of his ways. He approached Annapurna with an empty bowl, begging for food and forgiveness. The sight of the great destroyer, reduced to a beggar, was a powerful reminder of the interconnectedness of all things. Without nourishment, even the mightiest deity could not survive. Annapurna, embodying infinite compassion, filled Shiva's bowl and forgave him. This act of grace reinforced the importance of balance between the material and spiritual realms. In many depictions, Shiva is shown as a humble figure, holding his empty bowl before Annapurna, while she stands with her golden bowl in one hand and her other hand raised in the Abhaya Mudra, a gesture of protection and assurance. Through her avatar as Annapurna, Parvati taught a profound lesson. The material world is not an illusion to be dismissed, but a vital cycle of life that must be nurtured. Food, sustenance, and human connection are as sacred as the cosmic truths Shiva holds dear. Without these, life cannot flourish, and the balance of the universe collapses. From that day forward, Annapurna became a symbol of nourishment, abundance, and the delicate harmony between the physical and spiritual realms. Her story reminds us that sustenance is not merely about survival, it is about connection, gratitude, and the shared joy of life. And so, the earth continues to thrive, balanced by the combined forces of Shiva and Parvati, thought and action, destruction and renewal, spirit and sustenance. Together, they ensure the world remains a place where life can flourish, and where the sacred union of the divine energies is forever celebrated.